Helm of the Dominators, and I have not gotten an update on the Spirit or Wildcard, but when we left, okay, yep.
Team Spirit won.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we left, it was something like a 20k lead for Team Spirit. So brief update, but either way, we're gonna focus back on the series that's at hand. It's still round 1 for the Swiss stage here for our road to the international playoffs, and it is Aurora up against Xtreme Gaming, who are 1 game ahead, a game to draft here, and let's see if there's any shakeups in those drafts. If you know, able to balance to what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Recalibrate. Thank you, Ria.
You're welcome. I do want to give like one small props to that wildcard series. If you didn't see game 1, it was pretty even for quite a long time, and like wildcard were actually making a lot of really good plays. So I do think it's worth checking in if you're a fan of some NA doubts.
Or a fan of a potential upset.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the big, like, it wasn't the stomp I expected it to be honest, given that Spirit had 70% of people thinking it's going to be a 4-0
Don't fall into the trap.
I just think it's worth to look at. It was fun.
Doing a job.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was good stuff there,
Yeah, and we'll get some fun here as well when we do see a little bit more of the band. So yeah, Marcy, Abba, Naga, Shaker, Disruptor.
Yes.
That is the biggest change. That the Aurora do not want to change up what their opening is. They still want to stick by this Dawn. They say, we have a lot of faith in it. It's that comfort we talked about. Toronto great on it. And you said, the Disruptor dissuaded me too much. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, it's interesting that they got first pick twice, so I assume that Xtreme Gaming was happy with second pick and they either chose that or decide instead. And then they go for the Dawnbreaker again with a different ban, which I think is okay. I don't see a problem with the Dawnbreaker. I thought the hero is strong. It synergizes well with Kiyotaka, like we've mentioned. And now we get to see a different response with the Puck, which is a good hero against Dawnbreaker because it is a hard hero to usually catch and get follow-up on. So they're going to need some kind of hard stun to catch this Puck and have the Dawnbreaker follow-up. So we'll see how this goes from here, but I would assume this is just a straight-up Puck mid.
Curious how the conversation did go for Aurora after that game, because we could definitely talk about how maybe Nightfall can play a Nightfall Prime hero. But I'm just kind of like looking at the stats though. He was the only one that did well on the team in comparison.
Sure, it's like a little bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, like Toronto Tokyo was 0-5, Mirror 0-8, Panto 0-3, Kiyotaka 2-7. Nightfall, I mean, he was 7-4. I mean, stats don't look bad, but it is definitely still not their style necessarily. But I think this is like classic Aurora. Like they'll have these games where they just like underperform very heavily, and they'll come back in game 2 and like, oh, that's a tier 1 team. So this is something they do a lot, and I think this is a team that goes to 3 games more than any other team I've ever seen. So I expect that they might just draft the same heroes and just play better and just take this game as well. So very curious to see what approach they'll take, but Xtreme Gaming taking their time here. And then Elder Titan comes out. So what I've seen as a trend versus Dawn as a whole is like, you want to make it so when Dawn does go into the fight, you have like this massive AoE she's like teleporting into, whether it be like the Static Storm idea, maybe an Earth Splitter or a Stomp can really just like mess with that, make it uncomfortable for you to use your ult or make you think twice.
I think follow-up damage is always good with Puck, which is why the Snapfire ban was also interesting, because I think that is a great follow-up damage. And ET does give you that. The Spirit with the minus magic resistance is great with Puck. You have the Earth Splitter. And I think if you're Aurora now, you're looking at some hero that disables Puck. So maybe Rasta, maybe Lion, something like this. And as for the other position, it's pretty open. They can choose to pick a mid laner because they see Puck already, or they can just take another support and wait a little bit. But we do see Rasta, which I think is just a solid response to Puck. You want some kind of hex. You'd never want to give Puck a free game because this hero can just 1v5 the game at some point. So Rasta is great. As for the position 5, we'll see. I think they have another option in taking something like the Void Spirit. I think Void Spirit is a great answer to Puck. You have the Agonyms of the Silence, and they actually do end up taking Void Spirit. So they're going to wait with the 5, which I think is a great choice, because sometimes when you get a counter pick with the support, that just means you're going to already win the lane. And you see the Puck already, it's 90% sure it's going to be mid, unless Q is crazy. You know, he's going to play the plus 4.
I mean, he is, but
he is.
we don't know if right now.
So I like this approach. I think this is very solid drafting. Like, I like this from Aurora for sure.
I have a question. In this game, we've not seen a ban or pick for SF. I feel like he's been so hotly contested. Is there a reason why?
I mean, he
don't
was
think they're
nerfed in
favoring it?
the recent patch. I think that's like the one reason a lot of teams aren't really looking at it. I think it's not in Nightfall Prime here either.
Oh,
It really is.
Yeah.
So
No,
like,
you're right.
That was point one. He just didn't want to say it fast.
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
Kiyotaka plays it, and that
Does.
team.
he does, but clearly they've decided the nerfs are significant enough where they're not just going to jam it first pick anymore.
Yeah.
So
And also,
happen.
a lot of what Fly was talking about with the lane matchups, right? You could be pretty safe in that puck, and maybe they just favor when it comes to it. Confidence, nerfs.
yeah,
Well, I'm
Lane
mostly
matchup?
wondering because in the past I've seen like Puck is a good counter to Spirit heroes, right? And so a lot of teams, what they would do is they would pick a Spirit. I say a lot of teams. I definitely saw Spirit do it. They would pick a Spirit like Storm Spirit or so, and then they would cover it with a Silencer so that when the Puck is there, you know, it's hard to play into that. But Silencer's banned, so I was thinking, oh, well, you know, Aurora could play maybe the SF, but instead they just go for Void. So
yeah, and it's just comfort for Kiyotaka. This is like
Yeah.
his answer to Puck. Seen it enough times now where he just feels really good playing this hero. And if he wants to pick SF, he's probably going to first pick it.
Right.
There's no point in really waiting.
That animation is crazy, by the way. That Pugna animation, holy. Pugna, this is probably the best pause 5 right now, overall. I'm surprised we didn't see it in the previous game. I don't think it was touched. The reason this hero is so strong is because he's incredible in lane. He's super fast. He kills tier 1s, and in the current meta, it's very good to progress the map early, and Pugna helps with that. And overall, the Nether Ward is also a fantastic tool for teamfights. So I think they had a hard choice here on Aurora, where they had to decide whether they want to take the carry, because they know it's basically Undying offlane. They see pretty much everything. So they could have taken a carry that they like against Undying, or they chose to go with the Pugna, which is it's probably the best pause 5 against Undying in the lane, because you drop down the Nether Ward, you protect it, and Undying wants to spam DKs, he can't, he's gonna lose too much. So this is definitely, I really like this choice, and we'll see what Nightfall is gonna end up playing, but Pugna is a fantastic hero, and I'm sure it's gonna be very highly contested throughout this tournament.
I do have a question about their other support as well, because we talked about, you know, Xiaomi's got the channeled lockdown, and then of course these hacks as well. A lot of people are going though when it comes to facets for Big Snake facet, kind of overlooking the chicken fingers one, right, which is where you right click that has a hex. When you come up against a puck, are you more inclined to go that one, more of a way for a lockdown for him, or are you still thinking that the Big Snake is so good with its damage output?
I mean, I don't think the chicken finger is going to help a lot versus Puck. You're usually just like relying on quick cast hex to get him immediately. And after that, if that should be enough to kill him. I think when you do play Shaman, you're really kind of like deciding what you need in your lineup. If you need like Roche or something like that, or some building push, then I think going for the Big Snake might be better. If you're like, you really have to have some more team fight presence, so potentially ward trapping or have better laning stage, then maybe you can go for the chicken fingers. I think it might be game dependent.
I think this is a good game for chicken fingers because, first of all, in lane, ET relies on hitting you, and every time ET is running up to you, you get to attack him first. You kind of stop his momentum. So for laning, it's always going to be better, and it's specifically good against ET. It's also good at killing the tombstone. So when you have like the little wards, right, because they all count as a percentage attack. So killing the tombstone also a reason. So I would say chicken fingers. Ooh, there it is, Dominator hero coming out. Exciting.
I can really hear it in your voice. It was just so enthralled. But yeah, Faceless Void, right? People hit and miss. We're not really sure where we want to sit with it, but now at the helm of the Dominator, what exactly is this combination feed that makes it work with this item that people are like, yeah, it's worthy of being picked?
Yeah, well, Faceless Void did get buffed a little bit in the most recent patch, but his biggest problem for several patches in a row now is like laning has just been so important. And he just couldn't have any impact in the laning stage. Even if he had a decent laning stage, it just took him so long to get online. So this Helm of the Dominator gives you the early Helm of Iron Will, so you can stay in the laning stage, more armor, more HP. And then all of a sudden, you can just make plays on the map with your Helm of Dominator. You can take towers, you can farm faster. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it. So it gets him to the game earlier, and you're still Faceless Void in the late game, right? So if you can get past that hump in the early game, you're all of a sudden like one of the best late game carries. So being able to skip the early game by buying this item is conceptually very broken on a lot of heroes, and I think we're going to see it a lot more going forward.
And then of course there was that very quick response in Sven. It felt like
Really confident.
Yeah, Xtreme. No, they're like, you could pick any hero and we're still gonna pick Sven.
I like it a lot. I mean, I'm thinking like mechanically, oh, it's nice because he can itemize into like having a dispel on go. You're playing into a Pugna, it's really annoying, so you don't necessarily have to go Nullifier. You're also going to have that ET debuff on armor, so you're playing with a lot of physical. You got a lot of burst between the finger and just arm jump. Also, the fact that the ult does last for a while on him, so it means that, you know, you get chronosphere. It's not like it's the end of your team fight or anything like that. Or you can try and get the Dawnbreaker to use her ult and then move back, reset, go in again, right? I really like the Sven. I think it's I like the confidence it came out with it, and I like how many applications it has in this game against Aurora.
Okay, are you then kind of leaning towards you really liking Extreme Gaming? This is going to be a game in their favor, and then therefore the series?
I mean, Aurora playing a bit more comfort this time, so I'm kind of hoping to see what they look like at, you know, like Prime.
Aurora Prime.
Aurora Prime. I like both lineups. I think they both synergize well with each other. It makes sense. I have to go with Aurora this game. I think it's a very good Faceless Void game. If he manages to get a decent enough lane, I think he can carry this game. And it is Nightfall Prime time, so, you know, gotta go.
I like it. There is significantly more confidence in Aurora's lineup here, even though that's where you guys were for game one. But either way, it's a game number 2. Let's see what our casters have to say about this one.
That's correct. It is game number 2. Sunsfan here with Cinderin. We got Xtreme versus Aurora. This is going 3 games, Cinderin, because Aurora is playing.
Oh.
I agree with everything the panel said, even though I listened to about 5% of it, but I believe I did pick up on the fact that Aurora goes 3 games, and I would agree with that sentiment because I've cast a lot of Aurora, and in fact, they do go 3 games, if I haven't said that before.
Yeah, I think this time around they definitely drafted themselves way less into, how to say, they're way less on a timer, which in the last game might have got the better of them, that they maybe felt like, okay, we have to keep dominating the map and putting pressure, and then once you make 1 or 2 mistakes, you kind of ran out of steam pretty quickly. This time around, you probably feel better going later. You've got a Faceless Void carry, you've got Void Spirit as well, who has pretty strong scaling potential and a good matchup into the puck. Your supports scale exceptionally well. I think both Shadow Shaman and Pugna can be very, very strong late game.
Yep.
And yeah, as you're seeing pointed out here from the observers, Shadow Shaman did go for the chicken fingers that they were talking about on the panel. I do like the choice as well for the exact same reasons. I think against ET in lane is very nice. Breaking Tombstone is obviously paramount against Undying in general. And Shadow Shaman, one of the few supports that actually has a pretty good shot at it with the Serpents. If he only has the 1 snake, it takes forever. How about having some more?
Yeah, is this not the most played support of the year by a long shot, or is it just me?
It's one. I mean,
is that confirmation bias?
He's also been banned a lot, right? So
True.
Usually the most played support of the year is not one of the best. It's just the one that always makes it through because it's not quite good enough to be banned a lot. I will say though, I see where the panel's coming from with this being a good potential game for the Faceless Void to truly carry, but I think Sven is one of the best core matchups into Void in this patch, actually. Historically speaking, Void does well against Sven because you're one of the few heroes that has hard lockdown as a carry in that matchup. But nowadays, a lot of the time, Void's games are about weaving in and out of fights a little bit more and resetting, regoing. Sven is arguably the single best carry at killing Void on his own, right? You just jump, you burst him 100 to 0, and you have the setup for it. You've got the instant Hex of a Lion, you've got Coil, Silence, ET even can be a part of an Earth Splitter combo. So I'm a little bit worried about, for Aurora, just the clarity that this is fine if it goes late. I don't think it's that straightforward.
How long does it
also
take
what we saw last game.
How long does it take for Void to get online these days? Because historically, this is a hero that just takes quite a bit.
Well, with the Helm of the Dominator popping up now, it's definitely accelerating him a bit. You can think of it as like just a better Midas. You're getting extra farm because the creep can help you farm. Either you can put the creep in the lane while you jungle, vice versa, or you can just play them together for faster speed at whatever you're doing. It gives you good stats. Helm of Iron Will is really good in lane, so definitely come online faster, but the Dom doesn't... It can also hit in your chrono, so it's some more damage, but it's not like Void is just gonna crush the game at 15 minutes, right? It's not like...
Yeah.
He's still the same hero, but you've limited the weakness that used to be exploited the most which is that early mid game for him. So it'll come online, but I think the truly scary Void that you're used to seeing from highlight clips, that's like chronoing and killing 2 or 3 heroes, that's the same as always.
Yeah.
It's late.
Very hard to deal with a late game Void. That has never changed, especially with that 25 talent if they choose to go for that, which is the AoE increase. Very scary indeed.
Backtrack
200
chance has to be the choice against Sven, though, right?
I know.
You just have to take it.
But
I think.
the AoE, if you have like amazing setup, can just be game winning.
Yeah.
200 AoE when the radius is that wide to begin with is absurdly large. As Kiyotaka playing the Void Spirit this game versus XM's Puck. 14-5 so far for Kiyotaka, so slight advantage with a 10-0.
It's a good lane matchup for Void. It's unsurprising that Kiyotaka is doing well here. His laning last game was also fine on his Ember versus Lesh, so I don't really feel like you can fault Kiyotaka too much for the laning stage. Last game, though, a couple of moments past the laning stage, dropped the ball a little bit. And that's part of my concern for this game as well, is we can talk all we want about the theory of the lineups, but at the end of the day, it's about what level of play are you bringing to the server, right? I think in game number 1, Kiyotaka was not on his A game, so he needs to level up for this game. I think if everybody plays to the same level as last game, Xtreme just played better, right? Like through and through. All their players did a great job in the fights. They had good target selection, good itemization.
Oh, really? I mean, we talked about Aurora did get off to a good start. It was really that first Roche fight that I feel like really turned the tables in Xtreme's favor, and they just never looked back after that.
Yeah, that's true. Xtreme genuinely won every engagement beyond that until the game was over. I don't think they lost a single skirmish. It was always a trade or them just getting kills.
And their trades were always support for core.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see if Toronto Toga has anything to say about this situation, though, playing the Dawn second game in a row. You talked about this being kind of the off lane of the patch right now. As this creep, this is interesting. Ame will eventually get it, pops a war cry as well. We'll play a little bit of pressure to Mira as the Astral Spirit just shadowing him. Talk to me about the Pugna.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to Netherward here against Puck and the Lion, and it's also a bad lane matchup for. Oh,
that's first blood. So Mira did eventually go down.
Okay, and so did Panto. Okay. Talk to me about Pugna. Well, he's dead.
Yeah, that's not a good way to look at it. As Nightfall trying to take out the Tombstone, will be able to time walk away.
Yeah, so Pugna obviously has multiple benefits here. Netherward against high mana cost spells is nice. You've got Decrepify against ET, which in turn X-Nova just avoided that lane. He has to pick his poison between Shadow Shaman and Pugna, and I think he'd rather play against the Shaman anyway. And you can't really talk about Decrepify against Sven, because Sven was picked last, right? So that's not a part of the equation here. It's overall a solid support. I think Pugna is pretty good this patch. I think we'll be seeing it a good amount this tournament. I believe some people even thought Pugna was going to be the support, which I'm not sure I agree with, but I definitely do place it in like the...
It's been a long time since Pugna has been the support hero.
Yeah.
There was a time where, you know, Life Drain would give mana, right?
Yep.
And HP, of course. And it was used pretty consistently as like this support that did nothing but give mana to Storm.
The butler for Storm, yeah.
And it's been a long road back for Pugna, so good to see him getting back into the meta.
Why? I feel like I've never seen anyone run Lion as a battery for Storm.
I have.
Like, you have?
But it's a very poor man's version of the Pugna.
It's still level 4 mana drain is still okay. 600 mana in 5 seconds. It's not
the Remnant
bad.
does connect. XM as the orb to try to get away. Actually gets a little fancy with it and dies as a result.
Oops.
So it has the curveball facet, trying to get a little bit of extra farm. Could have just gotten away, I feel like.
Oh, that's a big kill.
Coolest facet in the game, though, I will say.
Curveball is very nice.
Very, very cool addition.
But this is, it's big for Aurora to get Kiyotaka on the board. You want Void Spirit to have a good start. This hero is very polarizing in my opinion. He has games that he takes over and games that he falls very flat. So, you know, a great fit for Kiyotaka. If he's having a bad game, he can just blame the hero. Be like,
that's
well,
really
I'm Void
big.
Spirit.
He just died to Lion by himself, basically.
Yeah, that is unexpected, to say the least. But yeah, if you could pick a singular hero in this game to have a good start, I would pick Void Spirit if I'm Aurora. Because this hero can really accelerate your game if he has the start that you're looking for, which is definitely the case here. Obviously, that time around, it comes at the expense of losing their Void, but maybe those two, or Faceless Void, let's be clear, there's 2 Voids. A worthwhile trade, if you could even say those 2 plays are connected. Might just have been a mess up on Nightfall's side.
Kiyotaka with the first power rune of the game, which is the Arcane. Gonna find a little Jin Q action. Panto there. Get another Astral Step with some good body blocks as well. XXS actually places down his Tombstone to try to contest this, and Jin Q, is he actually going to live through this? Looks like that might be the case as Kiyotaka has to try to run away. Trying to go for the Tombstone, gets impaled in the meantime though. Does take out the Tombstone, getting some extra gold. There's XXS now with a double decay, and it's going to force Kiyotaka out with not too much to show for it. In fact, it's going to be the death of the support instead for Panto as XM finally makes his way over.
Yeah, that was a very deep dive. They missed the Astral Remnant. I think at that point, or excuse me, the Remnant, at that point, you're just probably not getting the kill. It was close, but diving that deep between the 2 towers at minute 7 is absolutely going to cost Pugna his life. Big damage onto Sven down bot, but the TP rotation.
Stormhammer, the God Strength coming out as well. Only the level 5 Dawnbreaker not able to use anything to get out of dodge. Does have Hammer up in a second, but just too much damage in this early game from Ame.
Ame says Stormhammer is the better one. And he's right that time. Power Rune taken away by Xnova. Yeah. Nothing here for Kiyotaka. Big rune snag. He's running out of mana. So this is a really awkward spot now for Kiyotaka. He's got 160 mana, no rune to claim. I guess he could get his own bounty rune, perhaps, if that's still there, but otherwise it would be a long walk of shame. We're sending out multiple clarities. Is going to go for the standard Vessel build. Void Spirit, one of the few mid-heroes that more or less consistently does this, of course, being Universal, likes to buy it, and it's not really the best game for it, right? Like, what are you really countering with Vessel? Soul Rip?
I guess that's the only
Sven has some lifesteal. It's okay. You're mainly buying it for the damage because Void Spirit kind of needs to just get pushed over the edge with that. But I think some cases people maybe autopilot a little bit too much, and you could buy Dagon instead. You know, I don't dislike Dagon on this hero. I think it plays nicely into the pace that he's playing.
Yeah.
So in this particular game, I would have loved to see that choice also for bursting a hero like Puck, whereas Vessel isn't really going to finish the job. If you have a Dagon, you might just burst Puck in one go.
I mean, there's no way he's upgrading this, right? Is this just a casual earn?
I mean, he must be upgrading it, otherwise you wouldn't buy it, right?
Oh, okay.
I think.
It is a little weird.
Let's see.
And the Helm being used now for Nightfall. It's the Centaur creep. And they're going to make their way over to the lane where XXS is playing very confidently in tower range right now.
Yeah,
the ward is placed. He's already at half HP though. Aether Remnant pop. There's the Centaur stomp. Maybe gets his ult off here, which he will. Solar Guardian to follow, but he's dead already. Solar Guardian from Toronto Toku to try to help out. They will be able to get Jin Q on top of this, so double kill for Kiyotaka.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, that's a nice little find there as Tombstone not available. Dying, coming right back to life, TPing in and dying instantly. So using that innate to feed relentlessly, it seems.
Okay.
Ceaseless dirge, indeed.
Neither of us knows it's probably a book.
Yeah, it's probably something from the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Gummy vitamins.
One of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt eat thine vitamins.
Delicious. Serpent Wards doing a good amount of work here to the tier 1. It will survive. We'll see if Xtreme can... I mean, the game, in terms of net worth, is still quite even. Kiyotaka, though, leading the way in net worth at the moment. And it feels like any time a Sven is being played, he's always going to be in the top of the net worth. It's such a hard hero to contest.
Yeah. He is a level and a half ahead of the Faceless Void.
They get the finger, and that is the death of the Faceless Void and his Pine Cone. His trusty Pine Cone is dead. Oh, the death animation is beautiful, and then the sinking in the ground just ruins it.
Yeah, bodies decay really fast in this world,
apparently.
Actually.
I mean, it's biodegradable.
Well,
it is a Pine Cone.
That's fair.
And Panto, very
unlike the other heroes that are made of plastic.
That's well, if there's gummy vitamins in the Undying stomach. There's probably some plastic in there. We have a lot of microplastic in our guts, and I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, that's just what I needed this morning to be reminded of that. Yeah, overall,
working on the Echo Saber.
The game state is pretty even, but I think the big difference right here is Sven's lead over Void. I know it's only 700 gold, which might not seem like a lot, but it's also the levels. Like, Ame is 2 full levels up against Nightfall, so expect this to accelerate even further. And the win probability does say the 60-40 for the Dire. Generally tends to love Faceless Void if it isn't losing too hard early, because this hero just is a late game beast. And for all intents and purposes, I think Aurora are completely fine. Don't get me wrong. This game state is good enough for them. It's just, again, this is the type of game where the writing on the wall is this is going late, right? And we can't ignore the fact that Aurora and us alike feel like Aurora sometimes struggle late. So now you've drafted yourself into a lineup that has to play there and has to get there and overpower a team that, honestly, in my mind, Xtreme is one of the best late game teams in the world. The problem for them is why they don't get many trophies or top 3 finishes. A lot of their games, they just don't really get there. Yeah. Like, sometimes they get crushed in the laning stage, or their drafts don't really click or whatever. But when things are working and they get late, I really like their chances. So this is another game that is probably getting to that stage, and I think a lot of pressure in this game for me is on Nightfall. Like, you gotta pop off on Void this game. I don't think it's without a doubt, it's a very polarizing item, because the concept of having guaranteed evasion at minute 5 is, you know, ultimately it's the same for both teams, right? So it's not like it inherently favors a typical.
Well, what was that neutral that was good against TA before that they cycled out?
Exactly. That was the other one, right? The Gossamer Cape.
Yeah, Gossamer. Yeah, but that was a cooldown based.
Yeah. So
Toronto Tokyo going to get surrounded. Flesh Golem activated from XXS, and the TP instantly canceled because Jin Q is there with his million disables and the finger to delete Toronto Tokyo.
Yeah, didn't get it off. His animation was stopped because the decay took the kill. Jin Q didn't look too phased by it. Not to be mistaken for faced by it. Of course, face wash, important to him. But now that finger was unused, which I think is a good thing. You don't have to use finger for guaranteed kills just to get stacks. I think, personally, that's pretty overrated. I think having the cooldown is much better.
Aether Remnant misses again. X-Nova, though, getting blocked by Kiyotaka. And the Dissimilate is there, but the Chronosphere is being used to just kill the one. But on top of the Undying now, XXS is going to be fine. Spirit Vessel applied to him. Ame gets the Stormhammer onto 2 heroes. Trying to go for the Rasta, but of course the foul play comes into play. No pun intended. Does kill him off in the end. Toronto Tokyo looks to be next for Ame in the midst of this Wisdom Shrine. It matters not. That's 2 dead. And now the coil snapping. Kiyotaka with another Dissimilate onto low ground with the Astral Step is going to be fine, although XM uses the Illusory Orb, but no more catch to follow up with. Several dead for Aurora as Xtreme taking full advantage.
It's actually quite important in this matchup. It didn't happen in that exact scenario, but the curveball facet on Puck against Void Spirit is potentially crucial. Just having that longer chase time on the orb and the better speed, you can, when he jumps away with Aether Remnant, you can easily catch up, or rather with Astral Step. So yeah, nice angle find there from Ame. And another, this is the second game in a row now. Toronto Tokyo with these Solar Guardians, I feel like Aurora are not getting enough bang for their buck here with this first pick hero, right? This is the second game in a row they run it.
Yeah.
In game 1, we didn't really have those, all right, Solar Guardian owned here.
Solar Guardian. It's like a New Jersey accent all of a sudden.
Solar Guardian. I talked to Trent a little bit in the green room. It's rubbing off on me.
Yeah, understood.
Guardian.
No, I would agree. It's been a bit underwhelming, but I don't know if it's entirely on him, though.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying that considering you're first picking this hero and this is like top meta, they are not completely setting it up for success. And also, to Xtreme's credit, not giving too many good opportunities to find those connections. When you are running a Dawnbreaker with stuns, you want to use that ability offensively. And they tried there onto Undying, didn't really get the kill, though, in the Chrono. Just ran away. Aether Remnant accuracy now down to 15% here. Oh, I'm just pulling that number out.
But a follow-up Hex from Mira. They get the life drain on top of him. X-Nova is going to try to channel. Does get off the Echo Stomp. The Earth Splitter to follow. Is going to hit 1. That's going to be the deletion of Panto. And another support to follow suit. So, in the end, a 1 for 2 in favor of Xtreme again.
You're seeing a pattern with the item build on XXS? Because it's literally the exact same inventory as last game. Down to a T.
Yeah, it's true.
2 Bracer, Wand, Soul Ring, Phase Boots, Pipe, and lest we forget, of course, Phase Boots.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's not going to go Yules, though, I don't think, this game.
No, probably
Into
not.
AC.
It's going...
AC maybe at some point.
I mean, the Lotus is just great, right? You're gonna... If the enemy is buying a Vessel, you might as well Dispel it. Get Dispel, Offensive Decrepify. You want the armor. Undying has a lot of HP, but bad armor. So EHP-wise, any armor item goes a long way for him. I think it's a pretty solid choice here. Now, Aurora will finally take down this pesky top tower. Took them a while, but they get there. And the Faceless Void of Nightfall now completing Maelstrom, so more farming speed. Again, this hero needs time.
Not ready to fight yet. We've only seen the 1 chrono so far from Nightfall. Has the Maelstrom, as the coil.
Oh.
Will connect onto the 1, but no follow-up, it looks like. So with the coil expended, does Xtreme even want to continue here? Looks like they'll just be taking out the creep instead, and the tier 1 that is almost certainly going to be given up from Aurora.
It's good play from both teams there, though. Shaman, first of all, being in position to break that engagement, but also the discipline for Xtreme to not chase through there when you've spent the coil. Just recognizing that this situation is too risky. Gonna get counterplayed with a chrono, with a Dawn ulti. You'll compromise your positioning too much by diving for the Void. So you just call it quits, you take the tower, and you're happy with it.
XM, Aether Remnant going to be avoided thanks to the blink. XXS showing up now. Kiyotaka will just Astral Step to safety. So no fight to come as a haste rune taken by XM.
Might put it to use almost immediately here. They have eyes on Nightfall again. No coil, though,
Yeah,
but
it'll be tough.
Lion, of course, packs quite a bit of disable. No, not gonna reach.
Yeah, just being a bit of a nuisance.
And this time around, Ags first now for Toronto, Tokyo. So no BKB shenanigans. Spotted last game for the Glimpse at large. Not necessary this time, of course. So can go for the standard Ags rush. Very powerful item when you get it this early. I think part of the problem last game when you go BKB first and then Ags, the value of Ags has already gone down significantly by missing that 5, 6, 7, whatever minute window that you farmed it in. This time around, sub 20, just the overall impact of this ability, very, very strong. So look for Aurora to try to make moves. Void Spirit also closing in on his. The double silence against Puck and the supports of Lion and ET. Amazing item for the game.
Yeah, for sure. Nightfall in the meantime, working on upgrading his Maelstrom into the Mjolnir.
Yep. And Ame has now pulled ahead by 3k on him.
Yeah. I mean, we were expecting this to a degree, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
no way, even with the Helm,
Yeah.
no way you can really match up to a Sven in terms of farm efficiency. As we have a smoke from Xtreme.
Ame being ahead by 80 CS, though, is...
Yeah, it's a little extreme. No pun intended.
It's more than you would have liked to see for the side of Aurora, for sure.
Yep, this is a setup for the Tormentor. Maybe looking for a pickoff beforehand, but no. Gonna go straight for Tormy.
I wonder, in a game where Void has quote-unquote free farm, how many CS you can expect at minute 20. Because a hero like Sven, if he has free farm and you stack for him, he can close in on like 250, 300. Void right now has 140 minute 20. Obviously didn't have free farm either, so it's not fair to say, but I think with a Dominator into Maelstrom build, a benchmark for a really good game here is probably being close to 200, to be honest. So you take that into account, Nightfall is quite a bit behind the mark of a great game. It's still good. Like it's not like his game is bad by any means, but definitely not having a great time. Those 2 deaths to his name slowed him down, but there comes the Mjolnir, and now BKB has to be the choice, and that's instantly queued up. Queued up Lincoln's too, though, so which one will it be? I don't think he's buying both. I would very much favor the BKB. I think it's just too risky.
Yeah, but he's not afraid of a little risk from time to time. You've seen his hairdo, Cinderin.
Yeah. Love to talk about that. For whatever reason, you're obsessed with hairstyles.
Do I talk about hairstyles with anybody else?
No, so you're obsessed with Nightfall.
Yeah, maybe it's just a Nightfall thing. He takes the Wisdom Shrine himself.
Yep.
The level 14. And
is the 15 talent good on Void? Not particularly. Like time lock damage is okay.
he just wants to get as fast to 25 as possible.
Yeah, the 20 talent is sick.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, really good. Both of them are amazing, but obviously you're taking the right one if you're playing carry. I really do hope we get to see this hero in other roles than carry this tournament. There are games where time dilation is just the spell. We've seen it played in mid in the past sometimes, notably mainly by Topson. We've seen offlane Void sometimes. XXS is a player who would pull it out if it makes sense. And even support Void can work in the right circumstance, but yeah, maybe it's just a pipe dream for me to see this hero in other roles. I love watching Void not carry. I think
that doesn't bode well for Nightfall this game.
In other roles than carry, not carrying
yes,
the game from position 1.
But you don't like time zone.
No, I genuinely still think you can play it with Chrono in the other roles. You're just not. You need to draft it in such a way that the other heroes are killing in Chrono, not you. But your main skill when you're playing it non-carry is not your ult. Your main skill is time dilation.
Smoke versus smoke. Kiyotaka runs into both XXS and Jin-Q. Gets off the dissimilate before the Hex comes through. Getting slowed by the right clicks of XXS. And they're going to get the Waning Rift, though. XM gets the nice silence. They have the coil to follow. Kiyotaka in a lot of trouble. He's going to pop the Resonant Pulse to try to stay alive. Gets the barrier, getting healed now from the sideline. Meanwhile, Ame just deletes Mirror off the face of the map. So one death already for Aurora as they try to hightail away. Attempted TP, and it is successful. So only one death in the midst of all that.
XM didn't jaunt to the previous orb. I think that was just a misplay. I think he was meant to connect there and then get an additional puck kill or a Pugna kill, but okay. They get out relatively unscathed there on Aurora. I don't think that was too bad. You lose your Shaman. You had the Void Spirit jump in first and get caught by a couple of spells, but he did survive. So this isn't the biggest of deals. Also, Sven, of course, committing the ultimate will be a cooldown that you could potentially even play around. You didn't Chrono, so you have Chrono and Dawn ulti. I would really like to see Aurora just go for a smoke immediately, to be honest. Just try to take some initiative here and exploit the cooldowns. See if they do it. But again, notice the same pattern as the previous game. XXS is the one breaking the smokes, taking the first point of connection, and it's just unkillable. This time, instead of Mars, it's the Undying, but the logic and the overall, like, idea of the strategy is the exact same.
Yeah, and even if he dies, like we saw at the beginning of the game, he could potentially just respawn right away anyway.
Yeah, true that.
And that would be probably more effective at any other point of the game than what we saw earlier.
Yeah.
So Roche attempt from Aurora. We saw this last game, and Echo Stomp is something you do have to worry about. Connects onto one hero, but also delays a bit. XXS getting in the exact same position we saw from last game again. Is this a replay from game number 1? No, Roche is a lot lower this time. Tombstone is placed. Nightfall able to snag the Aegis this time, though. So Aurora get away with it.
Yeah, that's good. Again, they needed to take some sort of initiative. I like the smoke angle. This is even better, unless the smoke could have also led to a Roche. So, good heads-up play to take advantage of the cooldown of God Strength. And it did come up as Roche was about to die, and I think Xtreme just did not have time to set up a play for that. So, we'll be conceding the Roshan to Aurora. And as a result, you can just farm up this BKB now on Faceless Void with this Aegis, and then maybe put it to good use.
A very early BKB for XM, by the way.
Interesting.
Not a item you see that often on Puck.
Yeah, it's very good against Void Spirit, right? You know there's the 2 silences, so if you buy Euls, it's not protection. You just come out of the Euls and get silenced again. It allows you to largely ignore Nether Ward as a factor. Oh. Ame. You don't hit that hard. Well, I guess he thought Jin-Q could connect in time. He hits hard enough on that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Void Spirit does get out. I guess, yeah, Jin-Q was not in range in time. Obviously does not have the dagger online, opting to go Glimmer first. Again, carbon copy of last game. Jin-Q, ranged support, protecting with Glimmer, and playing backline. Now he will go dagger now as next choice.
You have 2 cores with dagger.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to buy Lion. Lion is just the best, right? Like, because you have instant hex.
I feel like a lot of times we see when teams have these compositions where these heroes could buy Blink, they all buy Blink, and it ends up being kind of too much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or it could have been distributed a little bit better onto whatever other items.
Yeah, and I think in this game you don't play Puck or Sven without it, right? So if anybody skips it, it's the Lion. which is quite rare. Usually, if Lion is in the game, he will buy the blink and somebody else, like a core, can scale more or whatever. But the identity of Sven and Puck just rely too heavily on having blink.
All right, Troll Summoner destroyed. XXS. What a riveting fight that was with the decay.
He did win.
3 minutes on the Aegis for Nightfall. Has the BKB still queuing up the Lincolns, by the way. See if he opts for it in the end.
It protects him against
Stormhammer
and then Lion Hex. But
2 spells from Lion, right?
Yeah, the problem is if Lion is clutch, he will just mana drain first, right? So you have to... I think if he is buying it, it's mainly against Ame, because as we talked about after the draft, Sven, one of the few carries that can actually just obliterate Void. And the way you protect yourself from that is, if you have the Lincoln, Sven can't do it alone. So then they have to get a 2-hero play, which a lot of the time in fights, the way they break down, if Lion, let's say Lion is part of the initial round of spells in the fight, Sven can't just jump in and kill Void anymore. Lion's spells have already been expended. Yeah, I don't necessarily mind it. A little bit on the side of, do we have damage concerns again, like we did for Aurora game 1? Like, does Void Spirit Dawn this time? Obviously AC immediately after Ags, so definitely gonna hit.
Oh, we got the Hex. Open up with the Shackle to follow. Jin Q, though, Impale, gonna buy a little bit of time. Toronto Tokyo gets the Solar Guardian. But again, Ame coming in from the north, deletes 2 supports, and Nightfall has to chrono and run away. Toronto Tokyo fingered to death. Didn't mean it that way, of course, Cinderin. Aurora, 3 dead. And the Aegis is just gonna expire the old-fashioned way. Just, Ame has seemingly come out of nowhere repeatedly in this game.
He keeps finding the right targets. I think this is just a beautiful showcase of what Sven is really good at, which is isolating and killing weak targets first is generally the go-to. We've talked about the Void counter, but it's infinitely better if you kill the supports instantly. The fight just ends immediately. Like when he casts his stun, this fight is over. And look at this angle. Beautifully, he TPs in from the top. They also have to be careful. They got caught by the sleep too. Yeah. Like just beautiful Echo Stomp setup. Very nice there from Xnova.
And Nightfall chronoed, hit Ame twice, and realized, okay, this is not a fight any longer.
No.
I am tickling him.
I think we're going to be seeing quite a bit more Sven this tournament, by the way. I have a feeling that this hero will go up in stocks and is one of the best carries right now for this meta. I don't think teams are able to punish Sven's or prevent him from farming enough of the time. And I think, especially if it's picked later in the draft, like in this game it was the 10th pick, so obviously it's a bit of a trump card, but a lot of the time when this hero gets picked late in the draft, do you have the tools to really solve him? To me, Sven needs a farmed Sven needs specific counters to not find impact, right? Yeah. And with the carries being picked late in drafts, Sven is definitely worth
to some degree.
considering.
This is a byproduct of the map being so large, right? It's inherently going to cater to heroes that farm really well. Yeah. Which Sven is always going to be one of those with inherent cleave.
Absolutely. Oh, look at that hero damage on Nightfall. That is pitiful.
Yeah,
3.4k.
Waning Rift to start. XM.
Can we get a fantasy point breakdown for Nightfall for this game?
Do you have him on your fantasy team?
No. I heard a player that a lot of people have on their fantasy team, Yatoro, though.
Yes.
Got a rampage in his previous game.
Oh, really? That's good for me. Ame takes out Mira. Yeah, I definitely have Yatoro on my team. Yeah. I mean, he has the most rampages in TI history. I'm fairly certain, right?
I think that's right.
I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure I'm still right.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And Tormentor number 2. This time Ame getting the shard. Oh. So the Warcry getting just a little bit better for his team. Undispellable.
Passive 6 armor is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
This takes me back to Kataomi playing support Sven for Entity. They had their Sven Pudge strat with Pure, and then Kataomi would play the 4 Sven, rush Shard, and just always Warcry his Pudge, and he would have insane EHP. All right.
Nightfall, Chronosphere, Nova goes out with the...
Oh, the Tombstone save.
Grab allied. Oh my goodness. as the Nightfall maneuver was successful this time, but it's going to be at the cost of a support as Ame and company just running through Aurora. The grab ally out of nowhere. I don't think he got that from any of the Tormentors, so he purchased that for exactly that purpose.
I think the play call there from Nightfall was, I'm going to ult and use Solar Guardian at the end of it so we can keep chain stun. And then he gets put in the tombstone and the fight's just over. Just lack of information there, going for that play. To be honest, I don't even know if they would have killed him.
I was going to say, how would they kill him anyway?
He has 4,000 HP on the Sven.
Yeah.
I don't... Satanic? I don't know, man. Like...
All right, high ground attempt. Aurora's going to have their full 5 in just a moment.
Yeah, we were talking about late game here. Did we...
And there's the God Strength.
Are we even getting there?
Fortification comes out. Creep Wave is going to take all of that damage.
I mean, surely you can't kill him without Chrono, right? So Ame just gets a lane.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I don't think Aurora interested in this. Just have to let it go.
And that is going to be a lane of barracks in favor of Xtreme after a not so great Chronosphere in the end. But like you said, I mean, how often do we see a grab ally reveal quite like that?
All right, Sven just cracked level 25 after this camp, I believe. Don't check. What do you think is the highest level hero on the Dire?
18?
It's 19. That was a good guess. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, all 3 cores on the Dire are level 19. And if we do bring up the level chart, well, Sven is slightly ahead of everyone else. He is 5 levels above Puck.
Yep, a little bit.
Ame with a classic, true hard carry performance here. But not in the sense of, okay, I'm farming all game, showing up with 6 items. He has been to every meaningful fight and crushed it.
Indeed.
Just a totally clean game. 450 CS now at 30 minutes. And this bodes well for the 0.95% of the fans that chose Xtreme Gaming to get 4-0. If they could start off with a 2-0 start, that would obviously be good news for them.
And Ame is actually opting to go for Aghanim Scepter, so a lot earlier than... I mean, I guess he does have a ton... Oh, okay,
he swapped away again.
Yeah.
I can understand why he was considering it. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. You'd basically be getting it to dispel Decrepify, which, in all honesty, hasn't really been that big of a factor this game in general.
Yeah, it's hard to use Decrepify when you're the one getting jumped by Sven every fight.
That's right.
Just fall flat immediately.
Well, looks like it'll be an MKB instead.
Definitely not been a fun game for the Aurora supports. 1 and 13 combined in KD.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you get 2-shot.
No.
I mean, Rasta, that's the whole purpose, is to not get 1-shot, right?
Yeah,
you
the
stay
reason
alive a little bit longer.
Rasta gets 2-shot because of foul play. Pugner gets 1-shot.
True.
Yeah, tough. You can see now that Aurora are...
Oh, my goodness.
Testing out their BKBs.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
They're getting more and more cornered on the map.
He looks so derpy there. Why? All right, so things just getting worse for Aurora. Maybe need to check their hotkeys a bit here. Xtreme, of course, didn't have... I don't think they had vision there, so they don't have the information. But if they take a fight now, then well, they're going to be even more at an advantage. In the next 70 seconds, that is. And there is a smoke from Xtreme. First series of the day, Cinderin. We were expecting this to go 3. Not looking like that's going to be the case, but of course...
You were expecting this to go 3. Don't put words in my mouth. I never said it was going to be 3 games.
Well, you didn't say...
Everybody else said that.
You didn't refute it either, so...
No, that's how you play it safe. I feel...
The best kind of analyst, yeah.
I do not feel strongly about it one way or another.
And we talk about the MKB instead of the Swift Blink for Ame.
With the way this is going, let's just entertain the idea that this continues and Xtreme kind of crushed this game. I would say going into today, I would have not expected the series to be this one-sided for either team. Like, regardless of score, I did not think the teams were seemingly, so far based on today, this separated in terms of just their prowess that they've shown.
Yep, as the Roshan will be attempted from Xtreme, and you can tell by the top of your screen, the smoke comes out from Aurora, means they want to contest. Rosh is already at half HP, though.
Oh.
XXS in that Flesh Golem form as well, and the Tombstone is placed in the pit. There's the Hex to start things out. XM getting the run to the damage onto the Rasta. The coil comes out as well as Ame just cleans up Roche himself. Oh! 2 shots, Nightfall, goodbye.
Oh,
as
no.
Kiyotaka's BKB finally comes back online. He gets the support for his troubles. As you can see, the Dawnbreaker able to BKB out. And now the pursuit of the supports and Kiyotaka. Stormhammer connects, and that's a... Ooh, gets ethereal there from a moment there from Panto, but in the end, the Crepify can only do so much. So a 2 for 1, and likely to be a 3rd. So Xtreme get basically everything that they want. They get Roche all the goodies. They delete the Faceless Void in 2 hits.
Realistically speaking, the only way you win this Roche fight is by finding the backline. When Aurora go into the pit and they throw an Aether Remnant and the target they connect on is Undying, they can't go on him first. Yeah. Even if they somehow kill him, he's immediately back in the fight with everything. And Sven is unaccounted for in the pit. You can't... not to sound like a broken record, but again, damage issues, right? Can you actually kill the big cores that you have to get through? And if the answer is no, you never go on them first. You have to, this smoke, it has to wrap around fully. It has to find Lion, ET. If you can somehow pick them off first, maybe you can build a fight around that. But again, this just leads to yet another team fight with unexpended ults. We never got a Chrono, we never got a Solar Guardian. They just couldn't find an entry.
And Nightfall ready to go now, potentially.
All right.
Doesn't use the Chrono. Ame literally just standing still, hitting buildings, will get the second lane. And the Hex from Mira.
Okay.
Kiyotaka on the sidelines as XM coming in with the coil onto 2. Nice heals from Panto. But the Stormhammer coming in. Ame wants to get in deep. He gets the 1 kill. And it back and forth from Nightfall. As you can see, the reset was there, but Ame now with that God Strength available. Earthsplitter does a decent amount, but Nightfall able to time walk most of it away. Toronto Tokyo getting on top of the Sven. Remember, this is still an Aegis Sven who just brushes off the damage with that Satanic. Gets back to full HP, brings him back with the Harpoon, but the Chronosphere is there with the life break on top of him. That's going to be enough to take out life number 1 of Ame. Can you do it again, though, is the question. Ame pops the Warcry. Basically invincible now as a result. Finger of Death deletes Toronto Tokyo, and it looks like Nightfall is next on the list, although Time Walks gets most of his HP back as a result. Kiyotaka, in the midst of all this, doing a decent amount of damage, takes out another support. So Lion dead again. Toronto Tokyo. He's going to get harpooned back into the arms of Ame. That's a double kill for XXS, though, as Nightfall and Kiyotaka, last remaining members of Aurora, as it looks like this game 2 will likely just come to an end right now.
They just cannot deal with Ame.
GG's come out, so Xtreme 2-0 pretty convincingly.
10-0
Really
and
impressive.
10. I'm sure Fear has a little smile on his face. Obviously, a big Sven Enjoy himself, one of his favorite heroes of all time. Of course, second only to Clinks that we have yet to see in 2025. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Clinks this tournament.
Yeah, maybe we will. Let's go to the panel.
Yeah, great game from them.
Yeah, I mean, we heard it from Fear leading into this game. Almost any hero could work, especially with Helm of the Dominator and item that everyone is picking up to get through that laning phase. And look, Faceless Void, get a little bit more